TV with more from Rivalry Week. And if you love college football, you've got to follow me on Twitter at MarkRogersTV and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here, and we will talk college football. Right now we're talking Clemson and South Carolina, one of the great rivalries in college football. But believe it or not, especially for you younger fans, this is the first time that these two teams have met, both ranked in the top 10, in 111 meetings. Okay, what's at stake? Well, first for Clemson, at 10-1, they want to get to a BCS bowl game, and they should be able to do that at 11-1, especially with another impressive win against South Carolina. For the Gamecocks, the more important game for them is being played between Missouri and Texas A&M. They need the Aggies to upset the Tigers to get to the SEC championship game. Let's now talk about the matchup. And we think that this game rides on the right arm of Tajh Boyd, and even more so than most Clemson games, because this guy's been carrying the load for years and years and years. But specifically in this game, because we don't believe Clemson can run against the South Carolina front consistently. Boyd with 29 touchdowns, 7 picks, 67% completion percentage, and of course he's a dual threat with 8 rushing touchdowns. Did not play well against Florida State. Most of that not his fault. He was on his backside and running for his life. And also has not played well against South Carolina. Look up the stats. He's had his worst games in his career against the Gamecocks in losing 3 consecutive games, including 27-17 to Dylan Thompson last season. So Boyd's going to have to find Martavius Bryant, who's caught 38 and 5 touchdowns, and Adam Humphries, 36 and 2 touchdowns, and obviously the guy, Sammy Watkins, who has rebounded from that sophomore slump with a big season, 78 catches, 1,100 yards, and 10 touchdowns. They're matched up, mostly Bryant and Watkins, against the 2 talented Carolina cornerbacks, Jimmy Legree, 43 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 3 interceptions, and also Victor Hampton, who's chipped in with 41 tackles, 3 interceptions, 9 pass breakups. He's also got 3 tackles for loss. I believe that's the key matchup of the game. Can the Clemson wide receivers create space and make plays against South Carolina's back 4 or back 5 in passing situations? Because again, the Clemson offense will not move the football consistently on the ground. I don't see it. Rod McDowell's a nice back, 4 100-yard games this season, but his backups are really banged up. Zach Brooks will probably not play due to a shoulder injury, and also DJ Howard has been hobbled up with an ankle injury. And again, Clemson's front typically dominated in recent years against South Carolina's front, and that defensive front for South Carolina is loaded, of course, with Chaz Sutton, 2 sacks, 6.5 tackles for loss. Kelsey Quarles, a man with 7 sacks and 11 tackles for loss. And of course, Jadeveon Clowney, who was all over Tajh Boyd last year with 4.5 sacks in this game, one game. Clowney's got 2 sacks in all of 2013. Yes, he's been injured. Yes, he's been double teamed. Yes, they've run away from him. Yes, they've created pass pockets and thrown the ball quickly to not have him be a disruption in the passing game, but still, 2 sacks the entire season. He is a freak, but not playing up to his superstar potential. But he could erase all that with a huge game against Clemson and Tajh Boyd once again. All right, when South Carolina's got the football, it comes down to Connor Shaw making plays, the all-time winningest quarterback at South Carolina, with an incredible touchdown-to-interception ratio this season, 20 TDs, 1 pick, and he's starting to get his legs back under him. He suffered a left knee injury against Tennessee. He's feeling much better, and he's created some distance between that injury and this game, and he's starting to feel much better and show it on the field. South Carolina's not ultra explosive, but they take care of the football with only 15 turnovers this season. And again, Connor Shaw makes the plays, and he's really underappreciated. Makes the plays and doesn't turn it over. 1 pick this season. South Carolina showed us some things last week in a romp over Coastal Carolina. They had freshman wide receiver Pharaoh Cooper run out of the Wildcat for the first time this season. He ran it a couple times for 81 yards and caught a couple passes for 42 and a touchdown. And also Brandon Wilds, who was kind of the co-starter along with Mike Davis to start the season, and he's disappeared to a certain extent. Ran it for over 100 yards against Coastal Carolina, as well as talented freshman Jamari Smith with 62 yards last week. South Carolina, again, we believe that the defensive front is too strong, and we believe that they'll be able to run the football just enough to take the pressure off Connor Shaw, who's, of course, a dual threat. South Carolina wins this one over Clemson in a very entertaining football game, and we certainly like with our pick going toward the home team as well. Gamecocks win it 30-27 over Clemson. But who knows? This one's up for grabs. We consider this close to a flip of the coin, despite Carolina being a 5-point favorite in the game. Need to hear from you now on Clemson, South Carolina for the 111th time, right here on Mark Rogers TV.